City Jazz Sessions is about great music, arts, and entertainment. We are located in St. Louis, Missouri, and available to performance art lovers worldwide. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. You can email us at cityjazzsessions@gmail.com.
All right. How's everybody doing? Today we have such a wonderful special show with a brother who I highly respect from the area, East St. Louis. He went out and been working with so many people and doing so many wonderful things. He's a father. He's a family man. You know, he's a hard worker. He's a straight up human being. And that's why we connected. That's why I connected to him. I was drawn to him. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys, or probably most of you know him anyway, Mr. Russell Gunn, a fabulous, prolific composer, instrumentalist. And, you know, his music has a vision and a point to it, and it's wonderful. I mean, I just love it. You know, and also you guys know my co-host, Laker, and Laker, say hello to everybody. And,
hey.
You know, so we out here, we're doing this thing for St. Louis and the world. So sit back and listen and enjoy some things and learn some things, because that's what we do here. Laker, you want to start out? And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've been listening to some of your music on Spotify today, because that's where I listen to all my music. And just really impressed. Loved it all. I was bumping in my car to Royal Krunk Jazz Orkestra, and then you also have some stuff on your own, I noticed, just under your name. So I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, just getting into the music a little bit. I know you've got your record release coming out, so if you want to start off with that, and then we can kind of dig into some of the other stuff that I've been listening to that you already have out. So tell us a little bit about the record release that's coming up.
All right. Well, first, thank you for having me. And I respect Mr. Barrage more than I can say. And I'm sure a lot more than he respects me in a good way, because he's my elder statesman from St. Louis. That when I left St. Louis and moved to New York, I was just following in the steps of those great guys that did it before me. About this recording, it's the title of it is The Sirius Mystery, and has a subtitle, Opus 4, number 1, and it has that subtitle because the record we put out 2 years ago was called Pyramids, and that was Opus 4, number 2, and that only means that they both are part of a larger body of work. They both go hand in hand. So Opus 4, number 3, will sometime next year, maybe, hopefully. But this particular one is about, this is the first part. I released them out of order. And this one in particular, well, let me try to put it in context, because every time I try to explain one, it's really hard to try to explain them all, because it doesn't really make sense.
Right.
So, in the greater context, it's a large 3-part suite, but each suite contains however many parts. So the first part, well, the body of work itself, it's sort of my musical summation of the story of Africans and Pan-Africans from time immemorial to time now. So the second part, which we released last year, is called Pyramids, and that deals with the middle period of Africans, Pan-Africans, because we all know that Africans moved out of Africa into all of these other parts of the world and built these fantastic monuments, most notably these pyramids that you can find everywhere, from China to East St. Louis, and of course in Africa. So that
Now
one was dedicated.
sorry to interrupt you. I listened to Kabla Kook, was it Khufu? Is that on the
Khufu.
Pyramids album?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because that is one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you. And
Yes.
in the actual meaning of that tune, Kabla Khufu, it's about the Great Pyramid at Giza, which was supposedly built by Khufu. And but most uh, real African historians would tell you that some of those pyramids and the Sphinx were there long time before um, Khufu was even around. So Kabla Khufu means before Khufu.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Now,
um,
now, when I was listening to that, for me, I was really hearing it as like a war song. Like it was very just a strong song. I could even imagine it being in a motion picture when someone is getting ready for war because it just had that like just really strong beat. I'm wondering, since we're talking about the Pyramid album, if I could play just a little bit of that.
okay.
Right. And I got to say something really quick
Yeah, go
because I
ahead.
remember on the last time when I was interviewing Kelvin and I was telling you how the music puts people in a trance to go to war, you was like, what you
No,
talking about?
Ronnie, I
And we were
thought about
schooling
that.
you, and we were schooling you on the rhythm and how everybody, all of the, Africa and indigenous
Yes.
people, the drum and the rhythm is what gets us psyched to do anything we vision,
Right, Ronnie. I thought about that exactly, your exact statement when I was listening to this song. I'm gonna play just a little bit of it so you guys can get a feel of.
Woo!
All right, see, y'all know what
Woo!
I mean, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I was literally in my car, like, yeah, let's get into this.
Well, you know what, and I'm glad that you say that you felt that way, because that's exactly um, what I was going for. As as a songwriter, as being this kind of songwriter, there's a few basic principles that I like to adhere to, and the um, the main one is the most African one, and that's the call and response.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is tension and release. And I think that song. I mean, we probably had a good 5 more minutes to go before the beat even actually came in, because
Right.
it's a constant call and response, building and building and building and building it up until the release. So, and
Yeah.
once the beat drops, I try to be modern, real modern about it, to where we feel a certain how we feel now as
Uh-huh.
Africans in America, the way we feel rhythm. I'm really conscious to make sure I stay on task and make sure that rhythm, the feeling of that rhythm is always a part of it.
Right. Yo, Russell, you were talking about today you're scoring um for your orchestra, right? And you're writing all of
Mhm.
the parts. What's the instrumentation?
Oh, well, it's pretty much um, the instrumentation of a regular big band, but I have the addition of I have a flute in my saxophone section,
Mm-hmm.
um, and um, and percussion, and really that's the real only basic augmentation of the traditional big band setup.
Okay, so what you got, like 4 bones or 4 trumpets and
Yeah, 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxophones plus flute, percussion, bass,
okay,
drums, keys, vocals,
keys. You got
guitar.
guitar in there? Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
guitar.
yeah, nice.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of trying to finish 2 pieces of mine for my new record. But I have a full string section, some oboes, some French horns, and I like that mix in the cello and the French horns, right, with an oboe on top or in the middle of a nice. So I'm in there too, man. I'm trying to. The problem is I got to get a new computer. My computer keeps crashing. My stuff to
You
write
was
the
blaming it on
different parts and
Facebook
be
like
like,
5 minutes ago. Now you was
huh?
blaming it on Facebook 5 minutes ago. Now whatever you do,
Oh
your
yeah,
computer.
yeah. Well, that's what's happening right now. It's just time for me to upgrade everything. But Facebook, yeah, I got a problem with Facebook. My stuff be
I dig it.
crazy.
I dig it.
So,
I dig it.
yeah, so go on and tell us about this next iteration. So the last one was pyramids, and
Mhm.
where you going with this one? How many tracks on
So
it?
on this one, there's only 4 tracks.
Uh-huh.
On pyramids, I broke it up a lot more to where, it was, it wound up being maybe 9 tracks. But even on pyramids, overall, it was really only 4 songs. And
Right, right, right. So you
on this
stretched them
one,
out and morphed them and things.
I marked them differently for recording purpose. But I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore
Okay.
because I didn't want people to listen to the composition out of context and not
Right,
understand what preceded it, and
right.
everything that precedes it means something to what comes after and all of that. So I didn't want to do this. So on this one, I made sure that the songs are just the songs. So there's four on this one.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I have some I got some extended tracks on my new record because I need to go back to playing too. And being able to let the music develop a little bit, you know, um, you know, because to
Yeah,
give, like you say, keep the context of the music. We were talking about recently. I've been doing a lot of things and some train tributes.
hmm
And I remember for me, Chain was kind of like the first cat that I heard that really just let the songs develop and he played out. And
hmm
that was the thing about this music that we relate to. There's a time we got to develop it. We got to play it, man. We got to do the thing on it. So I know I'm trying to get back to that a little bit on this next record of mine. I just end up writing so many music pieces, and you're like, man, I want to get that on the record. But you do
yeah.
what you
But
do.
the beauty of that though is like you always the it's like when I write, I always overwrite. I
Right.
write all for everything for every piece. I overwrite. I write all kinds of shit. I write everything you can imagine, and then the beauty of it is when I start to take stuff away and get to the essence of the idea that I was trying to get to. And
I
plus,
see.
man,
Yeah.
see when CDs came along, it kind of messed up um, the quality of the music
Hmm.
because you know once once CDs became the thing, then motherfuckers start trying to fill up 60 minutes of music which had never been done before.
Right.
Four songs, 2 songs
Right.
on one side of the album, 2 songs on the other side, maybe 6
Yeah.
at the maximum. That's about how creative somebody could be at one time. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And
Right.
on top of that, Ronnie, that's about the attention span of a person. Ain't
Right.
nobody want to listen. Nobody want to listen to 23 songs. I don't care who. I
Right.
don't care who you are, man. Who want to hear 23 songs on an album?
Right.
Nobody.
Right. 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 Right.
No, I mean, unless it's that good, unless it's like Biggie's Life After Death CD.
Life after yeah.
Like
Okay. Yeah.
all of those were like a good 90% of those songs were really good. But for the most part, man,
Right.
Biggie was great too. So
Right.
now if you just like average, man, nobody wants to hear
Right. Right.
15
Right.
seconds.
Hey, let's talk about for a minute all of the things you've done, because I think you were hooked up with Maxwell, D'Angelo, a few other people you were working with on the crossover and the pop and all these things you've done in your career. And after we talk about that, I want to talk about a little bit of your growing up hood in the St. Louis area hood. So because I know you and Roots were on some project together, right?
Yeah, we were out. Yeah, we was out with D'Angelo together on the Voodoo tour, the original one, the original
Right.
Voodoo tour. Yeah.
But we have to know what that laugh was about, though.
Oh no, you won't know unless you know Roots. Like we know Roots.
Yeah.
And we can't go into that because
Yeah,
he's not here.
Yeah, so Ronnie's referencing the great trombone player, Mr. Frank Lacey, who was like one of the greatest trombone players that ever lived.
Absolutely.
But he's a very unique individual, and yeah, if you know, but shit, at the same time, man, like super brilliant, like one of the most brilliant human beings that you ever want to meet. But yeah, he's a hoot and a half, as some people would say. Yeah, so he made it very
more than a hoot, he's a toot.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so tell us about that and the other ways the other things you had linked up through that and prior to that.
Well, man, I mean, I've always kind of been, in that world from the get go.
Wow.
I think when I think back on it, I think the biggest reason was just because I've always, even before I moved to New York, I was already open for it.
Right.
Mentally, I was open for it. Like, when I got to New York, which was the very early '90s, Ronnie, you had already been there in the '80s, and you saw the changing of cats on the scene. So, when I got to New York, everybody was in there trying to be like Wynton lifestyle acting,
Right.
type of being,
Right.
and I mean, I don't mind that because I consider Wynton to be a really good friend and somebody that really, really helped me out a lot in my career and everything that I got going on. But I never patterned myself after his lifestyle. I never really tried to be like him. I never ever really agreed with him about things outside of music and quite honestly things in music.
Right.
But even with all of that, the reason I respect him is because even with all of that, he still allowed me to be in first incarnation of jazz at Lincoln Center because it didn't really matter how I looked, how my upbringing, my background, or what I believed. I like rap music or whatever else. All that mattered was I could sit my ass on the bandstand and play the part, and that's why I mess with him like that.
And play your ass off.
But it was a different time in those early days for me in New York because everybody was still kind of on that. But with the way I came up in St. Louis, you always open to everything. You open to the man. You can't live in St. Louis and you can't play the blues, and you can't can't play no funk, and you ain't. You know what I'm saying? You can't play no church. If you don't, ain't nobody got no use for you if you a one-dimensional type of person. So I was already open, and plus I'm born in 1971. I'm like prime hip hop real estate date of birth. You know what I'm saying?
You in it?
Yeah. So man, so that was.
I heard that I'm in love with the stripper that you did.
I actually played on that.
Huh?
I got Kirk Whalum to play on that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. It's good though, obviously. But is it true? Is it true? Is there any truth behind it?
I think
I love how we went from the pyramids and this esoteric to, you know, I'm in love with the stripper.
No, we didn't do that. You did that.
Yeah, you did that. And besides, that was a long time ago.
But see, this is the thing though. I like when people can be multi-dimensional. Like we have different levels of consciousness. I'm those things at different times of the day, if different moments. And I think that's being human.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, I really liked at that time, I really liked the way that T-Pain was constructing his melodies. They were simple yet not complicated, but they were just tricky enough to be really, really hip. And but they were simple enough to be catchy enough for like the average person to be like, okay, yeah. But they were really, really hip, and I really dug I dug the way he wrote melodies. And so I mean, yeah. I jumped on that one. I like it.
Yeah. So go on. Let's not get back on track now. Who are some of them other people in that world you work with now? Because the world needs to know, you know.
Well, yeah. So I was already open to being, you know, that type of musician. So man, when Winton's brother called Branford, he was on the Tonight Show, but he was about to leave and he was gonna start his funk band called Buckshot the Funk. And he asked me did I want to join, and shit, yeah. That's all I'm about. Everything about that band was all that I was about. Those early Maxwell days, like that first Maxwell album that I did one of the first MTV Unplugged with Maxwell, and I think I did maybe 2 or 3 albums with him. I can't remember. Embryo, maybe I think it's one of them. So yeah, I mean, I just was always open to doing it, and now you know I'm with the great Marcus Miller, which I'm really happy to be a part of his ensemble. So yeah, I've never been a person to try to limit myself because of some dogma about about music or anything like that. Man, shit is if it's good, it's good. That's St. Louis. But you know how when you go to St. Louis, people always say nobody never clap. It's like, man, it's called because Show Me State and all of that. It's for real. Man, you know, look. You either got it or you just fronting. So
right.
As a musician.
Right. Yo, man, I was going through my galleries and everything, trying to find the pictures of Côte d'Ivoire when we went to Africa together. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, that was your first time there. I think you told me you got off the plane and just started running. You to be in the motherland. I'll never forget that. You was hyped, man. We had a good time.
I was really hyped. I'll tell you the thing that I remember, you know, with that being my first time there, I mean, I cried like a baby. I mean, I literally cried like a baby. But I tell you that, you know, the thing that I remember the most, that I thought was gonna happen. I thought when I got off that plane, it was gonna be some people there telling me welcome home. We got off that plane. When the motherfucker there, it was just, oh my God, man, this is bullshit. I wanted somebody there telling me welcome home, brother.
Yeah, I remember you told me that. But you know what? You know you was welcome because you made a big impact on so many people, man. I met a brother on that particular trip. I'm still in contact with when we went to the market. I don't know if you went with me this one particular time, but I got a djembe, I got a balafon, and I met this. Yeah, and I met this brother that was making the jewelry. Man, me and him still in contact today. He sent me home first of all with a box of jewelry. I was like, man, you got to sell this for people. He's like, no, this for you, you know. And when I hear you play, you know, you're my brother. You know, take the jewelry, man. And we still talk. We're talking all the time. Well, whenever I'm on Facebook, I got a message from him and we talk. Majid is his name. Okay. And I just met some really nice people. You know, I was telling you too, man, when I had been to Africa before, it's like they'll give you the back off their shirt, you know, once they relate to you as a musician and see how you are. I mean, the shirt's off their back, you know, they ain't got nothing, but it's like that's the kind of that's what it felt like, you know. And that time we were there, we had some really good moments. So it was a beautiful trip for me, man. Yeah.
Also, for me
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. And you remember Narcisse passed away. Also, you know, Daz had passed not too long, but Narcisse passed too. So,
Yeah, I found that out.
Yeah. But I was
But
talking to
shout out
Essie.
to him for taking me to Africa for the first time.
Huh?
I say, but a big shout out to him for taking me to Africa for the very first time.
Absolutely. Big shout out. Yep.
So what were you guys doing there? You just had a gig there, or?
Oh no, we helped his brother start a jazz school.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. His name was Des God, and he was like a big gangster musician over there. He had a whole commune, a property.
Oh, he was real
huh?
gangster. Oh yeah, he was gangster for real.
Yeah, gangster for real, you know.
Yeah.
So, but and he brought us over because he was introducing jazz to he wanted to get some money to start a jazz school, and they started it actually. We were the first ones to play. You know, it lasted for a little while, and then he passed away. So I think it all. Oh, you know who else I'm still in touch with is Daniel. You remember the young man that sat next to me the whole time playing djembe? I was giving him some drum lessons, and he could play drum. Yeah, I know you was off. We was off doing a lot of stuff, but me and Daniel, he lives in Atlanta, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna see him when I come down for Archie, and y'all should hook up because he plays great, you know, and he plays all of the hand drums too, you know.
Okay. Yeah, for
sure. Yeah.
You know what I remember the most about that? Now that I think about it, people talk about the Mexican work ethic. Right. Oh
yeah.
Do you remember?
I remember.
We got there, and they said, so they drove us by the club that we were supposed to play at. When I tell you there was nothing there, there was nothing there. This is the day before the concert. It was wires and shit hanging from the ceiling. It was like no door. It just looked like an abandoned street. When I tell you when we came back the next night for that concert, you thought you was in Coming to America.
That's right.
All of the hostesses had on these badass yellow ass man. It was
they had lights, everything.
I could not believe it.
It transformed that shit in one day, like. Yeah.
That was epic.
Yeah, man. So we was also supposed to hit. I'm sorry, Laker, go ahead.
Should we go to East St. Louis yet?
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, so I was actually just over at Miles Davis's childhood home in East St. Louis for a little camp that they were having over there. So what was it like growing up in East St. Louis? Tell us a little bit about that and how that shaped you as a person, as a musician, things like that.
Well, I think I kind of touched on how it shaped me as a musician, and that's just the St. Louis area. It's like, you know, you get it from all sides. You get, you know, music is music. Good music is good music. That's the St. Louis way. And you know, another funny thing about St. Louis is like we don't even really have a trumpet tradition. All of our trumpet players sound completely different. Lester, Clark, Miles, they all have their own complete
individual masters. Yeah,
which is crazy. Which is crazy because you of course can identify a specific New Orleans sound or whatever, but you can't do that with St. Louis. Everybody got their own shit.
Yeah.
Growing up in East St. Louis in the 80s, you know, of course it had its challenges because it was the 80s and it was East St. Louis. So I mean, I think just like anywhere, I think but besides that, what I've learned the most is that I used to think that we were the only ones. I used to think that in St. Louis and East St. Louis, we were the only ones that had that kind of trouble, that kind of mentality and you know everything
violence,
was going on. Yeah, violence,
What
everything is
is
going
oh
on.
the violence, the crime,
Yeah,
lack of resources.
yeah. And then you get a little older, you start traveling a little bit, you meet people, and then you just go, man, you meet somebody from West Memphis or Little Rock or
Mm-hmm.
Detroit, and it's like, man, it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing everywhere. So um, I don't really never I don't like to talk about those type of things because everybody got a story, and no,
Mm-hmm.
so don't nobody care. At the end of the day, it's like we all got the same ass story. So at the end of the day, I mean, you know, you
But
know,
I do think that your story, I mean, it shapes you. It's yours, you know, like because I'm assuming like you develop probably more grit than somebody who didn't grow up in a situation in an environment like that.
oh well, yeah, I definitely got more grit than most. Than most of my peers, I should say.
Yeah.
In them days in New York, boy,
Yeah.
Now I
niggas
don't
didn't
know
know
what
the
it was
grit.
like. I don't know what it was like in the 80s, but when I'm from Cape Girardeau, which is not anywhere, it's 2 hours south of here, small
Right.
town.
Mm-hmm.
But when I drive over to East St. Louis, I just see the like lack of resources just
Mm-hmm.
in the environment. It's like, okay, there's standing water. Why is there standing water here? Why is no one doing anything about this? Like on the street, or it's just a like I don't know how it was in the 80s, but it just seems like
It was like that.
people people
It was exactly like that.
Like
It was
that or
exactly
worse.
like that.
it's like why does no one think it's important to keep this area up? Like why are the
Well, I'll
resources
tell you
not
why.
being diverted there?
Well, Lake, I'll tell you why. Because that St. Louis, East St. Louis waterfront, that that area is so valuable that it's beyond value, and they're gonna keep degrading the value until
They
those who
think
really
black
want
people
it.
don't. Go ahead. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
those who really want it come. Well, they already have it. Trust me, they already have it.
Yeah.
So until they decide what they want to do with it, and then that's when you're going to see a change. You're never going to see a change coming up from from that East St. Louis downtown moving eastward. You're not going to see no changes
Mm.
ever until
Mm.
they decide that they're ready to go ahead and make that move. When people that look like you and me decided, all right, I had enough. I ain't living here no
Right, right. Either and they trying to pit us against each other to kill ourselves, like they doing right now in St. Louis. All them homicides, all that craziness, this craziness, because they done created this disconnect from those of us who know the history and those of us who are living the history there, with the young people who have no clue about even wanting to know. And that's one of the issues, That's one of the issues why, also one of my things as a musician is my voice is to tell these stories and to tell the stories of beyond and how we can do better, because we need to understand that all of our stuff comes out of community. Until we have a strong enough community, they gonna let us sit dormant in all that area. They just waiting, it's a waiting game. It's a
Mhm.
waiting game, but the property and all that stuff is so valuable, but look, it's crazy. We'll be here a long time if we get into all that stuff, because it touches on too much negativity, and
Right. But
and
there's
in
so
terms of
many
our
great
people, we need to understand those types of things and move forward beyond it, so that we have control over what happens.
there's so many greats that came out of that area. We always
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about Miles Davis, but you also have Catherine Dunham. Like, it's just so many stars that have come out. Look, that have come out of that area. So I think it doesn't have to be every time we talk about it something negative. Obviously,
No, no,
there's
I was talking about that particular subject of why things are the same
oh
in the
right.
property.
Yeah, the
No,
environment.
I'm talking about that. No, not no. No, because the positivity, we came out of that, and we're perpetuating that through what we do with our music. Absolutely.
Well, I think that no matter where you go and you find a city like East St. Louis or North St. Louis or wherever you go to find that, you always gonna find brilliant people. that
Mm-hmm.
that eventually are gonna, float to the top.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, just to kind of touch on what Ronnie was saying. That's one of the reasons that I'm writing this music now, this Opus 4, and the Sirius Mystery again. It touches on the achievements of Africans from time immemorial. And if there's any listener that doesn't know what that means before they even start keeping track of time.
Mm-hmm.
Before time was even a thing that you would think about saying, man, I wonder how long ago that shit was. Way before then,
Right.
before everything, way before pyramids, before
Mm-hmm.
Africans started building pyramids, thousands of years before that. I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. And the reason is because I think our biggest problem as people isn't um, other people. They've already done their job into making us act this way. So our biggest problem now is our inferiority complex, and
Mm-hmm.
and most of the time we have one and don't even know we got it. We
Mm-hmm.
don't even know we have an inferiority complex, and we walking around with our head up in the sky, thinking we high and mighty, not even realizing that we are a bigger victim of the inferiority complex than the little dudes that you feeling superior over. A good friend of mine, drummer named Kina Boto, we have this joke. Every time we see each other, we call each other First Black because of the utter ridiculousness of it to be happy or for it to be your claim to fame that you
Mm-hmm.
first black anything for two simple reasons. Number one, that you already bought into that inferiority complex by being grateful of being the first black, saying that, man, it took all this time for somebody, so if a black person is smart as me to be as smart as a white person. So I'm the first black person to ever do this shit. Number one, that feeds into that is textbook inferiority complex.
Right.
Number two is that if you don't really check out all the real accomplishments of people that look like you from time immemorial, there's no way that you would be consider yourself the first black anything.
Right.
Um, if
Right.
I mean, I don't even think it has to be expounded upon. Navigation, transatlantic, electricity. I mean, and I ain't talking about
Right.
the ones that we read in the book. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking
Right.
about the ones back in Egypt and before that was already doing that shit. So
Right.
how we always find like the first black to be like, it's almost like the final nail in the coffin in your mentality when you think, oh man,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd have made it, and I'm the first. Maybe not necessarily made it, but to be proud of something that's really not something, a monument
Right.
to nothing. I don't really know how to explain it.
I
No,
get you.
yeah, we get you.
Yeah, we get you. It's right. It's right. When you were coming up, who were tell us about some of your first memories of seeing somebody that you really wanted to see playing this music that really said, "Oh man," you made you say, "I'm gonna do this. I
Oh
could do
man,
this."
well shit, I tell you, man, because I'm old enough to still been around when a lot of the greats were still alive. I saw Dizzy when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Man, he came to Southern Illinois University for a concert.
Right.
Man,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. My father took me and he made me. He made it. I remember he made us leave before the shit was over. Man, I cried in the car. I was almost grown. I couldn't believe it, man. But
Yeah.
but yeah, man, I got to see. Man, I got to see Art Blakey. My
Yeah.
high school band we went to we raised all of this money to take our band to go do a performance at the North Sea Jazz Festival, and we went and
Yeah.
Blakey was playing, and man, I made it my business, bro, because quite honestly, that's the only job as a musician that I ever wanted. Like
Right.
everything I've done, or everything I will do, I mean, it's gravy. It's cool, and I really appreciate it. But the only job that I really, really desired and wanted was to be a messenger. Man, ever since I fell in love with the music, that's what I wanted to be. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
I got to see Blakey, man. That's where I met Roots for the first
Yeah.
time. He was
Yeah.
playing with Blakey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see a lot of the greats, man, before they transitioned and moved on. Luckily.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was hearing about you way back then. I think I was at the North Sea Festival when you was over there with your high school, and I heard about you. Yeah, man.
So
Man, it's
how did
been
you get into music to begin with?
Man, that's a it's a good question, and I think the answer is that I've always been doing it.
Mhm.
Before I started playing an instrument, before I started playing the trumpet, in church, I used to make up. I used to take like the songs that were popular on the radio, and then I would change all of the words to like Jesus and God, and then I would sing them in church when I was little.
Yeah.
But that was my first, I guess, attempt at arranging.
Okay.
So did you sang them in church in front of
Yeah,
the church?
yeah, I was singing them in
Did
church.
they know you were changing the words to?
Oh yeah, because I would just whatever the popular song was on the radio,
Okay.
I would just change the words, and then they would let me sing in church. But, in them days,
Yeah.
older folks were good at recognizing potential and
Yeah.
letting a child who they recognize, I guess, has potential. Man, let him give him a platform to
Right.
develop that. And at my
Yeah.
grandmother's church, man, they let me do it. Shit. So
Yeah.
and then I started writing like my own songs. I didn't know nothing about jazz music or nothing like that. I was just like writing pop type songs, and me and my sisters would sing them. And man, it's just, and I was doing that all the way um up until 10. When I turned 10 in the fourth grade, that's when I started playing the trumpet. So
Okay.
Wow, that was
Yeah,
early.
see, that's the thing that's a value about out there too, man, because I had a hella support system.
mm-hmm.
Anything I was trying to do on music, it's like, oh, let the boy do it. Everything. It's like
Yeah.
my mama used to come home from going to school at night. I'm asleep on the drums or the piano or something.
Uh-huh.
She wake me up, go to bed. But it's like, and I was telling, some people recently when I was at home too, I was like, I was like taking boxing at the boys club, and there was a band at the boys club, and then I was playing in drum and bugle corps. And then I was like, I go home and my uncle's having a jam session. I walk down the block and somebody's got their band out playing. I'm sitting in. It was just like it's so much culture in the music, and not just the music. It was dance and poetry and political activism. When I grew up, Julius Hemphill made me the youngest member of BAG. So I
Mm-hmm.
was hanging with them cats when I'm 8, 9, and 10 years old. And talking
Yeah.
about being open, it was everything was happening. And Fontella was there. I think I did my first gig with Fontella. I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
Playing R&B. But there is something special, unique about where we grew up. There was a serious nurturing concept amongst our community, especially our family.
Yeah.
So we were definitely highly blessed too.
Yeah, it sounds like so many opportunities to immerse yourself in art.
Absolutely.
Or it maybe not even necessarily something that's organized. Just
Right.
the fact that people would in the community or whatever would take interest and say that boy right there can sing. Let that boy sing at the thing, or that little girl could
Right.
dance. She need to go down to the thing and let sister such and such help out. Yeah, and you know, it's. I mean, I can't speak on how it is today because all of my children are grown,
Yeah.
and I've done, and so I'm not even in that world anymore. Where I don't even, and I'm happy about that. I'm glad that I'm not in that world anymore, and I don't have to deal. I'll be 50 in a couple of months, and all my kids are grown. So I'm super happy that I don't have
I
You
to deal
still
with.
young. You might have another one pop out.
Oh no, no.
I definitely feel like there is less community. You know, when I hear you guys talk about, and especially Ronnie and some of the other guests that we've had from St. Louis who grew up here, I do feel like it is definitely less community, less opportunities to, you know, immerse yourself in art like that. But
Yeah.
well, you guys have to help us bring it back for sure.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm trying to get my nonprofit set up, Russell. That's the other reason why I'm reconnecting with you too, because I'm gonna need you to come in, play, tell these stories, and get involved. But you know, take it right into Ferguson and other areas, man, and just talk about community because that's what's lacking, man. I mean, our young people don't understand that we need each other. All this
I
other
mean,
stuff got to be squashed.
I'm down. You know, I'm down for all that.
Yeah.
And I'm you know, anytime somebody asks me to do anything like that, if I can, I always do.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my duty. Um, you know, I feel like ain't nobody gave me shit. I feel like with everything that I got, I went out and I got it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, I did have people that you know that had my back, but ain't nobody gave me nothing. But and I feel like that's the lesson. That's the real lesson, and that's the real life lesson. Ain't nobody giving. But I don't even know if that's a lesson though, because I think we born with that. I think our
Mm.
DNA has evolved to where we, as soon as a black person is born, they already know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't
They
got
got to get it.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Laker, can you put up the link about the record release and tell us a little bit more about this when it's happening? Um, yeah.
Okay. Well, the record comes out Friday, August 6th, and then we're gonna have our record release party
Okay.
on. I think that's the that's the link to the recording. And we're gonna have our record release party on Saturday the 7th. I'll make sure I shoot you a link so you can put it up tomorrow to the
Yeah.
for the what am I saying, live stream of the record
Oh
release
yeah, that'd be
party.
good to live stream. Are they able to be purchased or is it a free live stream?
The record release party itself is a free live stream.
Okay.
Yeah, and the band is having a concert directly after, and quite honestly, I'm not sure if that if that stream is paid or not paid. Quite honestly, I don't know. I'm trying
Yeah,
to write music. I don't know what the club is doing.
I
Um,
understand.
but if it is something, it's very minimal. It's not like you gotta
No,
you
that'd be
know
good. Yeah, we
come
make
down
sure we
like
get
that.
it up and tune it in.
Yeah.
It was something else I wanted to touch on. Now, come on, because you've been modest about your pop experience. Because I know I talk to you sometimes. Yeah, I'm in the band with so and so and so and so, blah blah blah. Justin Bieber, or somebody else. So just give us a couple more. I know you don't know, you know, but
I ain't got no more. And I ain't being modest. I don't think I ain't being trying to be modest about it. And but I definitely don't um see, man, I got mixed feelings about that,
uh-huh.
Ronnie. Quite honestly. Like because even because in a weird way I feel like I kind of contributed to um you know what's kind of going on right now and how with musicians and how promoters or record companies or anybody kind of views them. And in general, this is how it is now. jazz musicians, young jazz musicians are judged primarily on their connections to artists that are outside of the genre. That's how you. That's how you gain your popularity in the genre. Ironically, I don't. You know how fucked up that is. Now,
No. But I'm with you. I got that. Yeah, I'm glad you're talking like this too, because
yeah.
you know, yeah.
So it's like if you know you could be A1 killer drummer #1, but you know who man, who you play with. You ain't play with no rappers, man. You ain't play with no R&B singers, man. You ain't play with no something like that. Then it's like, because the bottom line of that shit is that because nobody wants to do no fucking work. When I say that, I mean promoters, record companies. Nobody wants to do no fucking work. Everybody
Right.
all they want to do is be able to throw this name there and say and attach another person's name and let whoever did the marketing for that deal with that. And that's the predicament motherfuckers are in. Nobody wants to spend no money. Nobody wants to do no work.
Right.
And
they want it all done for them.
Yeah.
You make a very good point. That's a very good point. I never really thought about it like that, especially when we're asking people about their accomplishments. But I did Google you and pull your stuff up on Wikipedia. So I was looking at your discography, and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm just gonna go ahead and share this real quick if the people can see it. And hopefully I have the right person.
I hope so. Or unless you got my father.
Look, wouldn't that be hilarious? Yeah, you said you were born in 71, so this has got to be you.
Yeah, no, that's him.
Yeah, so I mean, I was looking at this, and even I wrote in the comments when I shared about us doing this podcast, like your discography is like a mile long. So I think to me, that's accomplishment, like what you put out there, obviously how good it is, but even just all the work, people don't realize all the work that goes on into putting music together, being in bands, all the things that you're doing with your big band and your smaller band. That's a lot of work, creativity, so much that goes into that. Do you want to go over any of this?
Well, there's a lot of stuff missing from that. That stopped. It looked like that stopped in 2013.
Yeah,
it's a whole lot of stuff.
You're gonna have to update it.
Yeah. But I mean, and again, I find things like that to I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those people that are like. I don't even know what the word is to describe people that don't really deal with accolades or you don't really deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm not that person that's like man. But I don't like for me personally, once some shit is over with, then it's over with for real. So
I got what you're saying.
This is your legacy, though. I mean,
no, I get that, but at the same time, if I take for a moment to look back at whatever I accomplished right now at this moment, then I'm losing my momentum. I'm losing my focus on what I need to be, on what I'm trying, or what I'm things that I'm learning because I always felt like, and this is related to that, like your most favorite jazz musician that you studied and you emulated. If year after year, if that person doesn't get a little less impressive to you, then you aren't growing as a musician. No matter how great they are, I don't care who it is. It could be Train. If you really study Train and you understand and you know, you've been studying him for years and years and years, and then you really can understand what he's doing, his tendencies, and all of those things. If year after year, what he does doesn't become a little less impressive to you, then you are not growing, no matter how great the person is. And I feel like the same thing with your body of work. If your body of work doesn't continue to improve every time, then you aren't growing. So that's why for me it's hard to look back at the stuff that I've done and be like, oh yeah, you know, that was, you know,
Right. I
because
did
I feel
this.
like
I did
everything is
that.
growing. Yeah, I feel like I'm still growing into the person that I am. And
Right.
I figured out a long time ago that I'm a good trumpet player, maybe above average. I could play, but I'm not a transcending trumpet player. Once I came to terms with that and understood that trumpet players are Louis Armstrong, you know what I mean, Dizzy, Miles, Clifford Brown, um, Wynton Marsalis. Those are trumpet players that make change shit. These are trumpet players that change shit for everybody. I'm a good trumpet player, and I could probably play with anybody, but I'm not those dudes as a trumpet player. But as a composer, I feel like I have my own thing that I'm just now really coming into, and I feel like that is my real um,
Gift.
that's my thing. That's my forte. That's what
Right.
I'm really good at, and I feel like that's where I make my mark. So that's my concentration is on that. So every time
Okay.
I write, I try to get better and better and better. And I look at the stuff that I wrote, 10, 20 years ago, and I'm like, all right, it may have been kind of cool, but it shouldn't be anything that's going to make me say it's messing with anything that I write in 2021 or 2022.
Right. So let me just offer another perspective and concept as somebody who's been in this music since birth, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, how you view yourself could be something totally different how a young person views you.
Mm-hmm.
So them learning about some of the things that you've done in your history and the way they hear you play,
Mm-hmm.
they could view you as one of those transcending trumpet players. You never know. And just as a perspective and as a concept of your giving back,
Mm-hmm.
those things made you want to keep moving forward and perpetuate your skills. So, but at the same time, those accomplishments that people who don't know you from Adam, that they might spark something in them that makes them say, oh man, I can do this too. So I just want to offer that perspective. I understand exactly everything you're saying, because I've been in those dilemmas and those places myself. And people always, but this and but that. And it's like, well, hold on. If you look at my body of work and the things that I've done, I've crossed all types of boundaries, right? But those are the things that make me want to continue to cross other boundaries. And I can speak for you as hearing you as a trumpet player, knowing what your passion is, and hearing your music, how strong and powerful it is. Don't underestimate that what anything that you have done in the past or what you're going to do in the future, they can influence somebody a lifetime. So, sometimes it's important to kind of like make a balance so that you can talk about those things and people can understand and it can inspire. So
No, I
that,
got you.
that,
I got you 100%, Ronnie. And yeah,
yeah.
and I've actually had this same conversation with someone else before, and I'm not saying that anything that I've done before wasn't good. I'm not saying that I'm a horrible trumpet player. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just speaking to the fact that it should always get better, and
And you
and
are.
every time it gets better, that means that it's better than what preceded it.
I
Right.
understand.
That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm not trying to make myself to be you know
Less
a
than you
horrible
are.
a horrible musician or
Right.
something like that. But I mean, but again, I think it's really good to know, to understand I think perspective is the word I'm looking for. And you know, think about it like this. And I'm not trying to backtrack and prove my point or anything like that. But when I'm think about it like this, Booker Little, who may have been the greatest trumpet player ever if he didn't die. He died when he was 23. The
Right.
only person I think that was better than Booker Little was Louis Armstrong. And
Mm.
I say that because of what Booker Little's potential was. Booker Little was the baddest mother that, oh my God. He was so ridiculously bad, and he died when he was 23.
Right.
Clifford Brown died when he was 26.
Right.
So when I say these things, what I'm saying is put yourself at your age now and and not what they accomplished, but just their level of musicianship at the time of their passing, and put that shit in perspective. And then that'll give you a real clue to who you are as whatever. So yeah.
Mm.
We hear you. We hear you.
Yeah.
So you're mostly putting out music with Royal Krunk Jazz Orkestra. So that's what you feel like is your vein, your sweet spot. Okay, and I'm just going to pull up real quick because I know we need to wind down.
Yeah, we're gonna wind down after playing something else.
Okay.
And we'll do this again too, Russell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walk by me. I could close my
So
video.
these are the albums that I see on Spotify. We've got the new one that's being released this week, and then 2018, you had Get It How You Live, and then Pyramids we talked about. Anything off of these we want to kind of play as we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let me look at the songs on there. I don't know. And you know what? I tell you what I'm proud of is that the song that I actually didn't write is the Switch medley, and because Switch has always been one of my most favorite groups just because of their musicality and just in the early the DeBarge brother. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the first one who was in Switch, man, those songs were amazing. And the vocalist used to be in my band named Deion Ferris. We used to always talk about doing a DeBarge tribute at some point. But so when we did this record, I decided to write a medley to kind of just show my appreciation for how great that band was, Switch.
Right. Okay, we can play that. I also like what you did with If I Ever Fall in Love.
Yeah, you should play whatever you want to play because it seems like you know.
No, I mean, like I said, I was listening to all this getting ready for the podcast. So I mean, it's a lot of great stuff. So I'm just gonna end with
That's some St. Louis stuff. She's like, oh yeah, what you want me to play? Okay, but I'm gonna play. I'm gonna
play this, right?
No, I'm gonna do Switch medley since that was the one you.
Man, don't you play that. Don't play that Switch medley. Play your song.
I'm doing Switch medley. I was just pointing out one that I like.
I'm just joking. Don't play the song you want. I love if I ever fall in love.
All right, let's do that one then, and then we'll close it out. All right, Leon, you ready for us to play it? Okay. All right, guys. So many amazing things. I really want everyone to go out check out all your music, your albums.
Indeed.
The Royal Krunk Jazz Orkestra. You can search it up on Spotify or iTunes, wherever you listen to music. And then check out this new one as well. It's the Sirius Mystery.
Sirius
Opus.
Mystery.
Yes. And available on Bandcamp.
But not serious like I'm serious.
Right.
Sirius.
Yeah. Actually, if they just search on Bandcamp, the Royal Krunk Jazz Orkestra, they should be able to find it.
Hey, Russell, man, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this time. I'm looking forward to us to doing that project we was going to do at Dizzy's before COVID.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That was going to be so fun, man.
I know. We're going to do it because, you know, Keon is he's got an opportunity to bring us back to St. Louis and do it. We talked about it on the last time. So we just vibe it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen as soon as all of this madness goes away, man. Yeah. You know. And, hey, man, look, love you, brother, and can't wait for us to do that and to stay in touch. We're going to do this again down the line because I know you got more stuff. And we got to keep uplifting and supporting each other and seeing each other. And I'm going to see you on September 6th, right? You come to the show?
Right, That's right.
Yeah, I'll be down there with Archie Shep.
Yeah.
All right, man. All right,
brother. I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Thank you, Laker.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
City Jazz Sessions is brought to you by St. Louis City Jazz, a 501c3 company dedicated to music education and appreciation. The CEO is Magic Man 50, and for more ways to connect with City Jazz Sessions, visit cityjazzsessions.wixsite.com/St. Louis. The City Jazz Sessions team includes host, content director, and guest coordinator, jazz great Ronnie Barrage. Follow Ronnie at ronniebarrage.biz. Host, website designer, graphic artist, content director, and guest coordinator, singing sensation Leica. Discover more about Leica at leicamusic.com. Additional production services are provided by Lions Den Productions. Go to thelionsdenstl.wixsite.com/home. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more great content.